Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma salli ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Assalamualaikum and hi. My name is Zulhilmi bin Zulkifli. I'm from the Faculty of Sport Science and Recreation at UiTM Sembilan. I'm also an undergraduate bachelor degree in sport management at UiTM Sembilan. So today, I would like to present regarding my research proposal for the course of SRT, that stands for Research Methodology in Sport and Behavioral Science. So, my research topic is the effect of cognitive anxiety on sport performance among UiTM Negeri Sembilan Silat Olahraga athletes. So, before we proceed further, I would like to share the content of my research proposal before we start further. So first, we will go through the background of the study, then proceed with the statement of the problem, the research objective, significant study, the literature review and methodology, and lastly is the reference that I had used throughout the process of making this research proposal. So first of all, we will start with the background of the study. Competitive anxiety is one of the psychological variables that contribute towards the performance of athletes based on Ruenti 2018. Anxiety is considered as negative emotions that causes the risk to increase by the tension caused by the arousal-related setting or surrounding perception based on Hussein Sultani 2016. Within the context of competitive anxiety, based on Vincent Parambas 2015, they are subdivided into two, which is cognitive and somatic anxiety. Based on Andres Armas Alejo 2020, cognitive anxiety is classified by excessive performance concern, apprehension, and lead to negativism. And for sport performance, is defined as a measurement of performance success that influence possibilities to participate in individual sports at the highest level through mechanism based on Benjamin P. Raysmith 2019. Then the level of cognitive anxiety plays an important role for athletes to achieve desirable performance based on the Cox 2012 and presented in the Cash Trophy model. So, in conjunction with this idea, the idea is that achieving the best result in sport performance can only be accomplished when there is low level of fear in cognition. And once an athlete has a high cognitive anxiety level, where an athlete is worried and combined with the rise in enthusiasm above an optimal stage, there will be a rapid catastrophic event. So, Silat Olahraga. So, Silat Olahraga is actually the capacity for in battle with striking and defensive acts such as punching, kicking, throwing, catching, parrying, and blocking include any skill related to Silat technique based on Ilyas 2015. It is a sport that has taken place in the midst of growth of thousands of Silat schools around the world. It is a form of self-defense that had been developed and has its origins in Southeast Asia at the 30th century as the purpose of applying their daily life, especially when they're in danger. So Maria Marino Fernandez stated that researchers also agree that every indicator of anxiety in sport must be take cognitive anxiety into account, like I mentioned earlier, such as negative thoughts and worry, and also somatic anxiety, which represent physiological response. Stated by Cox itself, it stated that achieving the best results in sport performance can only be accomplished when there is a low level of fear in cognition. So now we will proceed with the statement of problem, the problem of having this kind of idea. So in sports, high physical fitness standards are needed for an athlete to be successful, which relates to the development of different skills such as strength, power, agility, and flexibility, stated by Costa 2011. Even so, athletic performance can also include the improvement of cognitive and psychological elements, and also to enhance the capabilities of the body. Furthermore, athletes from individual sport provide more negative feedback rather than team sport in terms of cognitive anxiety and self-confidence. And also, those athletes that have much more competitive experience had a much more lower level of cognitive and anxiety, somatic anxiety, and much more higher self-confidence rather than those athletes that have low competitive experience, based on Marcos Jimenez Fernandez in 2012. And study on Pencak Silat is currently underway, which the study related to psychological abilities, which many sports scientists had enhanced their achievement based on Chandra Widya Suti 2019. So therefore, from this evidence had been shown, my study is trying to understand the effect of cognitive anxiety by highlighting on sport performance among your UiTM Negeri Sembilan Silat Olahraga athlete. So now, after we have know about the background and problem, we will proceed with what is the objective of me performing this study. So first of all, the study is to aim or to investigate the effect of cognitive anxiety on sport performance among your UiTM Negeri Sembilan Silat Olahraga athlete, and also to determine the level of cognitive anxiety among this UiTM Negeri Sembilan Silat Olahraga athlete. Then we will proceed with the significance of the study. So the study will contribute by providing and showing the importance of identifying the effect of cognitive anxiety in order to achieve desirable sport performance. Therefore, coaches and athletes can together deal with this problem in training and apply during the competition day. And as for the result, the most for me important is it can used as a guideline to overcome the anxiety in future and provide well-established data of your UiTM Seremban 3 Silat Olahraga athlete. And moreover, not only Silat, other sport can also use this as a reference regarding the effect of cognitive anxiety on sport performance. So this is the past study that or been my major journal that I have been referred, that is the effect of cognitive anxiety on sport performance among football players from Vincent Panabas in 2015. This is one of the reference that I had used for my study. So for my literature review, like I mentioned earlier, cognitive anxiety is an excessive performance and issue apprehension and contributes to negativity. And for the sport performance is a measure of performance success that affects the probability of competing in individual sport at the highest level through mechanism. And Silat Olahraga is the ability to use any abilities relevant to Silat technique in a fight situation against striking and defensive act. And it is a melee form of martial art. And for the research framework, based on this figure, it shows the relationship between cognitive anxiety of the UiTM Negeri Sembilan Silat Olahraga athlete may have relationship with the sport performance. So I hypothesize that high involvement of cognitive anxiety will affect the sport performance. And therefore, I do believe that cognitive anxiety can affect the sport performance among your UiTM Negeri Sembilan Silat Olahraga athlete. The negative emotion can overshadow the athlete focus and confidence, which will result in poor performance. However, it can be opposite for those who turn the negative emotion as a winning tool, such as being more prepared, aware, and analyzing the game properly to achieve victory. So based on my findings regarding the methodology, the research design that will be used is the correlational study based on Owen 2000. Correlational studies are used to evaluate and analyze the relationship between variables as well as to stimulate forecasts. And based on Valmy de Sousa 2007, also stated that correlational studies describe the variables and the relationship that occur naturally between and among them. So the reason why I choose correlational study is to investigate if there or to determine if that relationship is there a relationship exists between cognitive anxiety and sport performance among the UiTM Negeri Sembilan athlete. So this research design has been chosen to align with the research objective, which is to investigate the effect of cognitive anxiety on sport performance of UiTM Sembilan Silat Raga or a Silat Olahraga athletes and the level of cognitive anxiety. And so I hypothesize that there are high involvement of cognitive anxiety will affect the sport performance. And for the sample size and the sampling technique, based on my recent course study, which is SRT 603, the population is defined as an entire group or aggregate of people or elements of having one or more common characteristics. Or in other hand, a sample is a small subgroup of population of interest thought to be representative of that population. And for the Silat Olahraga UiTM Negeri Sembilan athlete, it consists of 35 people based on the interview that I had made with the secretary of the Pencak Silat Olahraga of UiTM Negeri Sembilan, that is Jafni Jamaluddin in 2020. So therefore, due to the small number of population of the study, so we would be focusing towards all athlete of UiTM Negeri Sembilan Silat Olahraga athlete. And according to the table, Craigie and Morgan in 1970, the estimated sample size needs to be taken from the total number of population, which is 32, and plus 20% towards the sample to avoid from unwritten rate or drop rate. So therefore, the total sample that will be taken is 38. And for the sampling technique that will be used is simple random sampling, which every member of the population is equally likely to be chosen for the sample. Therefore, the selection of one member of the population is not affected the chances of some other members being picked equally and independently. And also, no factor will influence the selection process, which is bias-free. And furthermore, the athletes will be clarified about the study and will be given their informed consent in writing and to complete the survey if they have agreed to participate. And also it is voluntary. Yes, voluntary. There are no forcing. And for the survey, actually it is better done face to face. But however, due to the pandemic, COVID-19, the best way is through either phone call, online interview, or through social media such as WhatsApp. After that, still in the context of methodology, but we will focus on the instrumentation or the tools that will be used. So instrumentation is referred to the tools or resources or means by which investigators attempt to quantify factors or objects of interest in the data collection process. So questionnaire will be used to measure the variable, which there is three sections. The first one is the demographic questionnaire. The participant will be asked to state their age, training experience, and ability levels. And for the second section is for the cognitive anxiety, which the instrument that will be used is a 27 item of competitive state anxiety inventory 2, The short form is CSAI-2 from Martins in 1990. So this measuring tools is used in research studies to estimate the cognitive and somatic anxiety of the subject as well as the self-confidence. And this test allows subjects to select the answer that corresponds to how they're feeling right now. So the elements within the questionnaire is cognitive anxiety, uh, the self-confidence, and also somatic distress. And the final score for each subscale will vary from 9 to 36, with 9 indicating the low anxiety or confidence and 36 indicating the opposite, which is much more higher and much more confident. And the validity of this questionnaire was verified by the professor, and the reliability was measured by cron batch alpha is equal to 0.89 based on Hussein Sultan in 2016. And as for the spot performance, it will be using the 42 item of the psychological performance inventor, which will assess about 7 factor of performance, that is self-confidence, negative energy, attention control, visualization and imagery, motivation, positive energy control, and attitude control. And for the reliability coefficient is actually quite high based on Vincent Barnabas 2015, which is 0.83. After that, the data collection procedure is actually a process of gaining and collecting data based on the research objective. So, in order for me to gather together the data for my purpose of performing this research, at first, as the researcher, I need to have an ethics approval before conducting this research. Therefore, I will meet the authorized body and present the study that will be made. So if the research fulfills the criteria that had been set, then only the researcher can gain the ethics form in order to attain the ethics approval for academic purpose. This is very important because the form will act as a proof and official permission from the authority for conducting the study. And the approval form will be provided by the Faculty of Sports Science and Recreation UiTM Sembilan. And then next, I as the researcher will meet the coaches of UiTM Negeri Sembilan Silat Olahraga athlete to get his permission and access to the athlete in order to perform the study. After that, I will explain and describe the purpose of the study to the athletes and distribute the materials containing a letter explaining the study and inform consent forms. Then the demographic questionnaire, competitive state anxiety inventory, CSAI-2, and for the sport performance questionnaire will be distributed to the athlete 30 minutes before and after competition. And the essence of the research was identified at the top of the questionnaire to the subjects. And each questionnaire took approximately 5 minutes to complete. And lastly, after they have completed answering the questionnaire, they will submit back, or I will take back the questionnaire for me to analyze the data. So for the last part, for the data analysis within the methodology, so in order for me to eliminate and analyze the data obtained, I would be using IBM SPSS system version 26. And also for the mean standard deviation and frequency of demographic data and sport performance score will be expressed by descriptive statistics. And for the competitive state anxiety inventory, the descriptive statistics and T tests were calculated accordingly. Then to determine the cognitive anxiety on sport performance of UiTM Negeri Sembilan Silat Olahraga athlete, a 42 item of the psychological performance inventor will be used. And also pilot tests will be conducted to test the reliability of the questionnaire. The significance will be set as P is smaller than 0.05 with alpha is equal to 0.05. In addition, also the data analysis used with research objective descriptive statistics, which will determine the level of cognitive anxiety, and inferential statistics as to draw conclusion towards the effect of cognitive anxiety on sport performance among UiTM Negeri Sembilan Silat Olahraga athlete. So that's all from me. I hope you guys understand and enjoy my presentation. So thank you and assalamualaikum.